Myanmar's leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been defending her country against charges of genocide at the International Court of Justice in The Hague. The Nobel Peace Prize winner took the stand to firmly refute the accusation that was brought in a report by the Gambia. She spoke calmly after listening about reports to the alleged atrocities committed in Myanmar in court yesterday. Suu Kyi insisted that any international legal action would undermine proceedings in her own country and said she has empathy for the Rohingya who fled to Bangladesh.
Regrettably, the Gambia has placed before the court an incomplete and misleading factual picture of the situation in Rakhine State in Myanmar. Yet it is of the utmost importance that the court assess the situation obtaining on the ground in Rakhine dispassionately and accurately. The situation in Rakhine is complex and not easy to fathom, but one thing surely touches all of us equally: the sufferings of the many innocent people whose lives were torn apart as a consequence of the armed conflicts of 2016 and 2017, in particular, those who have had to flee their homes and are now living in camps in Cox's Bazar.
Well, let's go live to The Hague, where our correspondent Shona Murray is there. Shona, morning to you. I know you've been listening and we're in the court, but Suu Kyi said that the Gambia's case was incomplete and misleading quite early on in her speech. What was the justification for that?
Yeah, indeed. She said it was inaccurate and that it was select. She basically made the point, essentially, that there was an internal armed conflict taking place in Rakhine State in Myanmar. Sorry, just one second. And essentially that this was what was happening. She brought us back to a time in August 2017 when in actual fact military bases and police stations had been attacked by an armed group, the ARSA group, which is essentially a group of the Rohingya Salvation Army. And she said the response by the military was a military response. She said that in actual fact there could have been essentially war crimes taking place, such as a disproportionate use of force against some of the combatants, and that there would have been collateral damage that had taken place. But she didn't address any of the weight of testimony that we heard yesterday from the UN fact-finding mission, which talked about systematic rape of children and women on an industrial level, the massacring of men, throwing families into burning buildings. She didn't address any of that level. She said that there was a misconception as to what was happening in Rakhine State. It was an internal armed conflict and not something that represented ethnic cleansing or indeed genocide.